of stuck here. The cops won't bother me. Well, squids, I just got the fuel sensor relay for this, or should I say the fuel pump relay, and you can see I have it wired up really badly, and I basically took a wire directly from the new fuel pump and I put it directly into the area where the relay is, so I'm not using the relay. So the reason I did that is because the relay, I think, was bad. The danger of this is that if you ever drop the bike and it's running, it's not going to shut off the fuel pump, and the bike is just going to keep pumping gas all the time. So if you have a lay down, let's say you're unconscious and you somehow crash and it goes up in flames, you might go up in flames as well. So it's a little bit more of a safety issue, but it's no big deal. You know, most people, if they fall, they'll be able to turn off the key. So with this, you turn on the key, because I bypassed it, you turn on the key and it just keeps, you know, pushing gas. But because it's a solid state pump, it doesn't really require much because it shuts off by itself. So as you can see, it is quite messy. It's not a very attractive system. These two wires, they run to the fuel pump. It's like a negative and a positive. But when you follow these two wires, so one goes to the ground, one is the positive, and they go right there. And what I'm going to be doing now is installing the new relay they just got in. It's kind of funny. This is a Chinese part. I think it was like $17 or something. So they don't make this relay anymore. That's the only difference between this and the one that comes with the bike. They even have the logo from the old one here. But you can tell the quality is not that good because this little plastic thing is not even like level with the top, so, and it's a little bit more off to the side than this one. So it's kind of badly made Chinese part. But I am kind of curious to see if this relay will work on the bike. Drive the point across. I'm going to turn on the key, and when I turn on the key, the pump just starts working. And it pushes fuel up, but it doesn't stop. So let's say that you were to fall, you would have this pump just keep pumping, pumping, pumping. And what the relay does is that I believe it uses the pulses from the rear cylinder, and then it stops the fuel pump when the carburetor gets full. That way you don't have a constant pushing of the fuel. And when you fall down and the bike turns off, it'll turn off as well. So that's the idea behind the relay. So let's go ahead and remove all of this. So what we have here are the connections directly to the pump, a positive and negative. And what I have here now are the positive and negative. It's a connector that connects here to the fuel pump. We're gonna do that now. Then connect this. I did a pretty good job with this tape. Let's see if we can slice this out. And that's basically all I did. It's just a terminal to connect it directly to the relay. This is where the relay goes. And the relay sits like this, right? And the relay tells the the bike or the fuel pump to once in a while kick in. And what I did to bypass it, you run the positive to the middle one, and when you turn the ignition on, it just starts the pump working. But since we want to be on the safe side, and hopefully this is the issue with it, we're going to get this relay on here, and now we're going to start the bike. All right, I'm going to turn on the bike. Let's see if the pump does not start, which is I guess good, because it could be that it's pumping. So it's going to start because it's got fuel in the carbs. And full-blooded. So guys, I got the bike running. It's hopefully running off the relay. I don't know exactly if it's going to run, so I have it running. It needs to run for a couple of minutes. If it keeps running, that means that the fuel pump is kicking in. So if it's not, we're just going to resort back to the old system that was working really well, which is removing the relay. I don't hear the fuel pump kink it in. So the fuel pump definitely needs to be kicking in once in a while. Bad news, guys. I do not think it's that relay. And the reason I know is because the fuel pump is not kicking in. And when you turn it on now it runs worse than you see, like it this is what's happening now. So what I'm going to do now is go back to the same old. That means that this relay, so if you had a bad relay and your bike wouldn't start, or I have no idea if this is the bad relay, it's not working, so there's no point of even having it because I can bypass it, and it seems to work really well. So as soon as we get that in there, make sure you push it in. This is not a great system, but I'm going to put tons of tape in there. So let's see if it'll fire up. If I turn the key on, turning the key on, and you hear that fuel pump, and it starts right up. But now, as you can hear, the bike just starts right up. So that's really all you have to do to bypass the relay. You just take a piece of, you just gotta cram it in there. This is not very strong, by the way. It helps to have a little bit more, a really good connection. Right, now I have it all taped up and I kind of put it under here. Let's see if the bike will start. And this connector you're not going to use because that's the connector for the fuel pump if it was working. And I hear the fuel pump starts right up. Now the issue is that I moved the idle. Getting too fast. I like to keep my idle a little bit lower. That's pretty much how you bypass the fuel pump relay. And you know, now that I think about it, it's not the relay, so I'll probably keep the old relay and this one. I'm sure this one works. It's from China, and I don't know if it'll work for long, but I think the issue is not the relay, it's this. It might be this connector for the fuel pump. This is the connector that actually connects the fuel pump to the battery. So I am not really sure what's going on. It is getting power. I've tested it, so I'm not really sure what's going on. If you know what's going on with this, let me know in the comments below, because I would like to have the relay, the safety of the relay. So just so we're clear, with this system, bypassing the fuel sensor relay or the fuel pump relay, you're basically, when you turn on the key, the fuel pump is just going to kick on in a continuous loop. So what could that mean? Is that if you crash, you lay over the bike, and you don't turn off the key, it's going to keep sending fuel to the carbs and could potentially get all over the engine and start a fire. That's the worst case scenario. But you know, most of the time you're not going to notice, and you can just turn off the key if you lay it over. It'll be much simpler that way. But yeah, that's how you bypass the fuel sensor relay, guys. I kind of wish that the fuel sensor would work, but this is a good fix. And I have a working bike that's reliable, kind of cool to ride, and fun. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.